Russia's strategic manipulation of Serbia, a European power play amid the Ukraine war. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has left Europe in a state of uncertainty as Russia continues to escalate tensions with its Western neighbors. Moscow's strategic manipulation of the European Union, EU, and NATO through Serbia has been a key factor in this development. By exploiting historical, cultural, and political ties with Serbia, Russia is attempting to carry the war to Europe, undermining the continent's stability and security. This article will explore the ways in which Russia is leveraging its relationship with Serbia, the historical context of their alliance, and the potential consequences for the EU and NATO. Historical context: the Russo-Serbian alliance. Russia's alliance with Serbia can be traced back to the 19th century when both nations shared a common enemy in the Ottoman Empire. The two Slavic countries have a long history of religious, cultural, and political cooperation, bound together by their shared Eastern Orthodox faith and Slavic heritage. During the Cold War, Yugoslavia, of which Serbia was a part, maintained a non-aligned status, though it often leaned towards the Soviet Union for economic and political support. In the 1990s, as the Balkans descended into chaos, Russia supported Serbia in various conflicts, most notably during the 1999 NATO bombing of Serbia over the Kosovo crisis. Since then, the Russo-Serbian alliance has grown stronger, with Moscow providing Belgrade with financial and military aid, as well as diplomatic support on the international stage. Exploiting Serbia's EU and NATO ambiguities. Serbia, despite being a candidate for EU membership, has not yet joined the organization. The country's accession process has been slow due to unresolved issues, such as the normalization of relations with its former province of Kosovo, now an independent state. While Serbia seeks to join the EU, it has simultaneously maintained a strong relationship with Russia, allowing Moscow to exploit Belgrade's ambiguous status in Europe. Serbia's stance on NATO membership is also uncertain, as the majority of its population remains opposed to joining the alliance, primarily due to the legacy of the 1999 NATO bombing campaign. Russia capitalizes on this sentiment to undermine NATO's cohesion and to potentially create a buffer zone between itself and the alliance's eastern flank. Influence in Serbia's political landscape. Russia has actively cultivated ties with Serbian political parties, particularly those on the nationalist and far-right spectrum. Moscow's support for these parties is instrumental in promoting a pro-Russian agenda in Serbia, as well as in exacerbating existing divisions within the EU and NATO. One key example of this support is Russia's backing of the Serbian Radical Party, SRS, a far-right political organization known for its anti-Western and anti-NATO rhetoric. By funding and promoting such parties, Moscow aims to influence Serbia's domestic politics and, by extension, its foreign policy orientation. Economic leverage and military cooperation. Russia's economic presence in Serbia is significant, particularly in the energy sector. Moscow has secured its position as Serbia's primary supplier of natural gas through the construction of the Turk Stream pipeline, which passes through Serbian territory. This energy dependence allows Russia to exert considerable influence over Belgrade's decision-making, as well as to leverage the pipeline project as a means of driving a wedge between Serbia and its European partners. In addition to economic ties, Russia and Serbia have engaged in various joint military exercises and arms deals. These activities not only strengthen their strategic partnership but also send a clear message to the EU and NATO that Serbia remains a loyal ally of Moscow. Cyber and disinformation campaigns. Russia is known to have been involved in various cyber and disinformation campaigns targeting the EU and NATO, often using Serbia as a conduit for these operations. Russian intelligence agencies have been implicated in hacking efforts targeting European institutions, while Serbian-language media outlets, some of which have links to the Kremlin, have spread disinformation aimed at discrediting the EU and NATO. These disinformation campaigns focus on undermining trust in Western institutions and promoting a pro-Russian narrative, which in turn fuels Euroscepticism and anti-NATO sentiment within Serbia. By exploiting the existing divisions within the EU and NATO, Russia is attempting to destabilize the political landscape of Europe and further its own strategic objectives. Potential consequences for the EU and NATO. Russia's manipulation of Serbia poses several risks for the EU and NATO. Firstly, it undermines European efforts to integrate Serbia into the EU and to promote stability in the Western Balkans. By keeping Serbia within its sphere of influence, Russia can continue to exert pressure on the EU's eastern flank and obstruct the organization's enlargement process. Secondly, the increased Russian presence in the region threatens NATO's cohesion and military readiness. As Russia continues to strengthen its military ties with Serbia, the potential for a pro-Russian, non-NATO member state on the alliance's eastern border raises significant security concerns. Lastly, Russia's disinformation campaigns contribute to the erosion of trust in European institutions and the unity of the EU and NATO. The spread of false narratives and conspiracy theories serves to create confusion, division, and suspicion among the European public, weakening the foundations upon which these institutions were built. Conclusion. In light of Russia's strategic manipulation of Serbia, it is crucial for the EU and NATO to remain vigilant and respond to these challenges with a unified and coherent strategy. This may involve increased diplomatic engagement with Serbia, support for pro-European political forces within the country, and efforts to counter disinformation and promote fact-based narratives. Additionally, the EU should continue to support Serbia's accession process while addressing the issues that have impeded its progress. By fostering stronger ties with Serbia and offering a clear path towards EU membership, the organization can help reduce Moscow's influence in the region and promote long-term stability. Ultimately, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine serves as a stark reminder of the need for a strong and unified Europe. Addressing Russia's manipulation of Serbia and its attempts to carry the war to Europe is a crucial step in ensuring the security and stability of the continent.